Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Excuse me. Do my feet fit?
This is the plaintiff, Carrie Sattarelli. She says she and her husband bought twin beds for their daughters from the defendant. But when they put the mattresses on them, the bed frames were too short. The things turned out to be 4 inches shorter than the standard twin mattresses they placed on them. When she called the defendant to complain, she had the unmitigated gall to tell her to cut the mattresses down to fit the frames. Is this woman serious? She's suing for $450, the amount she paid for the flawed frames. This is the defendant, Sarah Boyd Lade. She says she sold the plaintiff her childhood bed frames, which had been stored in her mother's house for decades. She set one of them up for the plaintiff and told her she thought they might be a little smaller than the standard size, and seemed to remember her mother cutting the mattresses to fit. The woman then paid her $450 cash and drove away with them. Now it's her problem? She doesn't think so and feels the judge will agree. She is accused of being short with a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Have a seat, guys.
How are you going to get by there?
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Carrie Sattarelli? Sattarelli. You are suing Sarah Boyd Lade?
Yep.
And Jane Lee Lade? Who's Jane?
My mom.
All right, you have power of attorney for her?
Yes.
For $450, the amount that you paid for these 2 beds that were advertised that, as it turns out, do not fit a standard twin. Okay, talk to me. What's going on?
In October of 2012, October 13th, there was an advertisement placed on Craigslist.
Do you happen to have it?
I do. The first page is the picture. The second page is the description of the advertisement.
Okay, so you see it advertised on Craigslist, and what does it say?
2 twin beds are made of beautiful English pine. They are perfect for a child's bedroom or guest bedroom. Both head and footboards have round finials on the post. $299 for one or $450 for the 2. Call or email for more information.
Okay. Are these the pictures that were attached?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
I've been looking for twin beds for my daughters, and I saw them. They looked exactly like what I was looking for. So I had called her as well as emailed her to say I was interested in the beds, and we set up a time to see the beds the next morning.
Okay. Who went to look at the beds?
My husband, Danny, and myself.
Okay.
We brought the daughters as well.
And how many kids do you have?
3.
3. Okay, what do you have?
I have a 3-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old daughter. It was for them, and then I just have a 5-week-old now.
A 5-week-old?
Daughter.
Daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great age spread, and having 3 girls is the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been great.
All right, so you bought this for the 2 and the 3-year-old?
Yes.
Okay, and then so the 2 of you go to check out the beds and what?
And upon first notice, I said, they look a little bit short. Are you sure these fit a standard twin mattress? And she said, yes. So we
Now, you have a very different story about how that conversation went.
They said, does this fit a standard twin mattress? And I said, I'm not sure. I know they're antique. And if you look on bedsleepies.com and stuff, you can see that the mattresses for antique beds, you have to get custom, and they're different. And in this case, they're antique. They're narrower. And my parents cut foam to fit the beds.
Is
and
the problem that they're
to
narrower
them.
or that they're short? Which is it? Oh, so pretty.
They're beautiful.
Aren't they?
They are beautiful.
They're just beautiful. How old are these?
They're old. I don't know. They've been
Did
in
you
my...
sleep on them?
No, my sister did.
How old's your sister?
24.
Well, how did your mom get them?
She got them at an antique store in Darien 21 years ago.
But nobody knows how old they are?
No.
So you see the beds and you're concerned. Why don't you just have the measurements of what you want?
I have been looking for twin beds for a long time, and I had been looking on Craigslist, and in general, when you're buying a twin bed, when they advertise it as twin, it should indeed fit a twin.
They're different size twins, though, aren't there? I mean, there's extra long twin, there's twin.
But you would see that as extra long, like they have for like dormitories, they have extra long and
Right.
whatnot. But a standard twin is a standard twin.
Excuse me. Do my feet fit?
You fit.
I fit?
You do. Are you a twin?
I kind of feel like one of the seven dwarfs. Why didn't somebody, if you guys have a concern about the size, enough to discuss it amongst yourselves, why wouldn't you get a tape measure it, and go online and figure out what it is going on?
Because she used the words, it fits a standard size mattress. Mattress, not foam mattress.
No. Like I said, it just looked a little bit short, but by my eye, not by any measurement. You're right, we probably
Why didn't you
should
just
have
measure
measured.
the thing to make sure that it was what you wanted?
I honestly didn't know they made so many different size mattresses. I thought standard twin was one size only.
Did you already have the mattresses or not yet?
No, we went that day and
Okay.
purchased standard twin mattresses because she
And they're
told us
how short or what's the issue?
they were either 3 to 4 inches short and 3 to 4 inches narrow.
So you call her and you tell her, we have a problem, Houston, and she says what?
Well, I left a message for her. I had said, I'm sorry. I said, but my husband and I went out and got these mattresses from the store. We brought them right home so our daughters can sleep in them that night, and the mattress will clearly not fit the bed. And I left the message saying, you know, we need to take them back. We need for you to call us back so we can figure this out. And I did receive a call back that evening saying, I spoke to my mom, and she told me that, you know, that back in when we had them, that they cut them.
That's the first time, according to you, that
Yes.
she provides that information.
Yes.
Were you there during that conversation?
No, not.
It was on the
during that.
phone. I mean, he was in the house with me, but
Okay.
it was me. It was basically most of the
So she
directions
tells you,
was-
my mom says that you need to buy a foam mattress and cut it down.
That's what they did, yeah.
Right.
But we were hoping that these beds would make it through at least their teenage years and so on.
Make it a lot longer than just the Lilliputian era. First of all, can you measure that for me? Will you measure the inside space? You know, and your answer to all this is what? They got a deal, they're really pretty?
I didn't say they were standard. The
You didn't
ad
say standard, but
says
you did say twin.
They are twin. A twin, by definition, is a bed with a matching counterpart.
A twin is a bed with a matching counterpart? I thought a twin was a size of a bed.
No. Well, there's several types of twin. There's twin XL, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And there's one other one. There's an antique twin, a standard twin, and a college or XL twin.
Did you advertise this as an antique twin?
No, just a twin.
You just said twin. See, let me tell you something. I see both sides of your story here. You know, from your perspective, here's what you have. You have somebody advertising a twin. You say, I brought it up, and she said, yeah, it'll fit a twin. And you take it, and it doesn't fit a twin by a long shot. From your perspective, I understand that, hey, no matter what, whether I put the word twin, they're assuming twin means a certain measurement. Nobody took out a measure, you know, something to measure it. They look at it, they raise a concern, and they still go ahead and take it. Why would I have to take it back, Judge? You know, it's a sale, you know, as is. If they have a concern about the size, maybe they should be measuring it and figuring it out before they end up buying it. Did it ever occur to any of you to do either what I did, which is lie down next to it, or lie down on it? Why didn't anybody do that?
Truly, the fact that it's 3 or 4 inches, it didn't look that short for me to be concerned. And when we asked her and she gave us the answer of it's a standard twin, then we had no doubts. It wasn't like it was a child size or a toddler size bed.
I mean, because you knew they were antique, though, right? Like she told you we got them in an antique shop
No.
and blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
Absolutely not.
Oh, I know she
remember-
did.
I-
No,
Because
she
she
did
wants
not.
to get top dollar for these.
She definitely
And so
did
she's
not.
going to tell you how great they are and that, you know.
When we went to speak to her about them, she said they were in her sister's room that she slept in when she was a child. That's all she told us. She never disclosed that they were antique and that they were less than average size.
Did the girls like the beds?
They loved them.
They loved them, right?
I like the beds, they just don't fit mattresses.
I know.
We got
What does
none.
it cost to get a foam mattress that would fit those?
In the neighborhood of 250 plus. That wasn't part of our mind frame. We were thinking budget-wise what we could
Sure.
afford.
All right, we're going to take a short recess.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, is it tough luck for this plaintiff?
I don't think so. I think the obligation is if she's told they're twins, they should be twins. They should
But
be.
they are twins. They're just smaller than normal.
I think if I'm told twins, I would expect to be the standard size of a twin.
Okay, but she saw that there was a problem here. She saw that they looked smaller.
Yeah, I think she should have measured it or knew about it.
Her fault?
Yeah.
Does she get the money back?
Don't waste my time with that. I mean, if I was, the person that sold it to her, I'd be like, you know what? You have an idea what you want, we're not gonna.
So tough luck for the plaintiff is what you're saying.
Not for her.
God, you're tall. Going inside the courtroom.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a seat.
All right. I have a couple things to say, because I got to tell you, this is a really close case. I have these beds that don't obviously look small, but they kind of look small to me. I think you should be that savvy to kind of look at it and wonder and just measure, particularly when you have a concern. But there's something that keeps bothering me. You had said that the first time they ever mentioned the size is when they're storing the beds into their trailer. Is that correct?
No, before they bought them, they asked me about them. But mind you, when they were...
Stop talking.
Okay.
Right before they loaded it on the trailer, she asked if it would fit regular twin mattresses. You first said, I thought my parents might have cut mattresses down for my sister and I to fit the beds. You crossed that out and you wrote, I knew parents had cut mattresses down for my sister and I to fit the beds. Let me tell you what you didn't cross out. Right before they loaded it on the trailer, she asked if it would fit regular twin mattresses. So why are you changing your story now and saying that that happened before they bought it? Let me tell you why I know you're lying. Because there's no possible way that they asked you that question, that you told them, oh yes, that my mother cut twin mattresses, and then they march off to Mattress City to buy 2 twin beds. So I know you didn't give them that information then. Take back the beds. $450 verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, one party's going to be happy about this ruling, the plaintiff, but this is the defendant coming out here, and you do not look happy.
No.
You got those beds back. You just can't get rid of those
I just don't want them back.
Well, you don't have to really take them back. You could just say...
Well, now I can sell them again, but as seen on People's Court.
Yeah. You said twin. You could have said matching.
Sure.
You want to maybe try that next time in the
Yeah,
ad?
next
Did I
time
just
I
give you
will.
a good idea?
I got it,
Matching?
yeah.
Don't use the word twin because that indicates a size in the bed business.
Yeah, it's
right?
open to interpretation,
Yeah.
so.
Matching?
Matching
All right.
beds.
Right around the
Thank
corner
you.
this way. All right, so come on out here whenever you're ready. Tell me what you're feeling now that you don't have to go home with those
Feel great.
those beds are, chained to your legs.
Not anymore. We're going home with them.
Yeah, and next time, if you buy from someone like this, what are you going to bring with you?
Tape measure.
Yeah.
Harvey?
So here's the deal, guys. Judges use common sense in a lot of these cases, and it doesn't make sense that if the defendant really disclosed that these were anything other than standard twins, that the plaintiff would have gone through with the deal. Now, we'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Back Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie Sleep Solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
This is the plaintiff, William Munoz. He says he was riding his motorcycle up a hill, and when he got to the top, he saw the defendant's car stop, blocking 2 lanes of traffic. He hit his brakes hard, but screeched into her car. She claimed he was speeding, but trust him, if he were speeding, he wouldn't be standing here right now. Even the cop said he'd have given her a ticket if he'd seen how she was blocking the traffic. Bottom line, he has $1,006.17 worth of damages to contend with, and the defendant owes him big time. These are the defendants, Randolph and Alita King. Alita says she was backing out of her driveway, and just as she'd put her car into drive, she heard a loud crash. Then she sees hands waving in her face, and the plaintiff yelling, "She just hit me, she just hit me." She got so mad the Sicilian came out of her because the plaintiff was the one who hit her. Owe him money for his own bad driving? She thinks not. They're accused of backing into a lawsuit. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $684 for damage to their car.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says he was riding his motorcycle when the defendant stopped right in the middle of traffic. And even though he hit her, he says it was squarely her fault. But she says she was moving along when she got nailed. It's the case of one vicious cycle.
Thank you, Douglas. William Munoz,
Yes.
you are suing Randolph and Alita King for $1,006.17. The damages to your motorcycle that came from an accident that you say was her fault. You have a counterclaim against them for $684, of course, for the same accident. What's going on?
I was driving down Amboy Road. I was on my lunch break. I came over a little hill, took a little tiny hill right before the defendant's block. And as soon as I went over that hill, she had pulled out of a driveway in reverse over a double yellow line into my lane. I hit my brakes. Didn't have enough time. There was nowhere for me to go. So I wound up colliding into the rear of her car.
Into the rear of her
Into the
car
rear
or
of
into
her
the
car.
side of her car?
No, the rear of her car. The rear.
Okay,
It
come
says
on
that on
over
my
here
statement.
and use this little map here to...
Okay, car was here. I was here. I was right here. She had pulled out in reverse. And can you see? I'm sorry.
I can see.
I right here, and that's when I swerved, and boom, it hooked the back of her car. See that?
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I hit. I hit her rear bumper, more, not exactly in the middle, but more towards the right side. But it was
Okay.
directly in the rear.
Okay. So you feel she's entirely responsible because she pulled out into oncoming traffic and you had the right of way?
Exactly.
Do you think she couldn't see you?
Maybe because of the little hill, maybe she thought there was nobody
Did
there.
you see her before the hill?
No, not before the hill.
When you saw, from the time you saw her to the time of the collision, how much time passed?
Split second.
A split
It was
second.
that quick.
Right.
As soon as I came over the hill, her car was already in this lane. And I'm going
so
this
you
way.
saw her pull out of the driveway?
Yeah, and that's when I hit the brakes.
Okay, go ahead and go back. Okay, can you wait a second? It'll be your turn in a moment. All right.
Like I said, I had maybe a split second to react. I hit the brakes.
What
and,
happened after the accident?
I was a little upset. I mean, I just, got into an accident, so I was cursing. When I saw a defendant come out, which was a female, I stopped cursing. Her first words were, "You were speeding, you were speeding." Not to see if I was okay, not to see if everybody was all right, just that I was speeding. I saw that she had kids in the car, so what I did was, my motorcycle's front tire was wedged underneath her bumper. I had to pull it out, because otherwise my bike would have fell. I had to pull it out from underneath her bumper. I pulled it back, I put the kickstand on, and I sat down on the curb. She then called the police, and we waited for the cops to come.
Okay. Is there a police report?
Yes.
May I see it?
Yes.
Did you take any pictures?
Not at the scene, because I did not have a phone with a camera at that time.
Okay.
But I did take pictures. I went back a week later, and I took pictures of the road.
Of the scene itself?
The speed limits.
All right, tell me what happened. Why don't you come on over here and show me? We have a mic and start when you get there.
The plaintiff's motorcycle slammed into the defendant's car, but he says it's her fault because she pulled out into oncoming traffic. Let's listen.
First, I want to explain that the road is not like this. I have pictures to indicate that this is a completely straight road. There's no twists.
Okay, hold on. All right, what I see is actually this little sign here. What's that mean?
I don't know. I got to see where it is.
Come on.
I have.
What is that?
This is nowhere where he came from. Actually, I don't know where this is.
Where is it?
My house is right here. You can see my house from here.
On the left?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
it's
this is
straight.
the road that you say you were taking?
Yes, that
Okay,
mechanic
but a
shop
hill is up and down. A hill is not sideways. And
Right.
this
I
sign
didn't
is to
draw
show
that.
you that what? What does that sign mean? My daughter's taking the driving test tomorrow. Maybe I should ask her.
It's kind of like use caution. because it's a
Slippery
wavy
or
street.
curvy road?
Curvy road.
Curvy road. Right, but curvy like this, and I don't even see it anyway, is not the same as a hill.
It's not. It's a tiny little hill.
Where is the hill?
Over at this point right here, right before her house, there's a little hill there. It's not
Okay,
a lot. It's not a big
You
hill.
didn't photograph the hill? I'm just going to take your word for it? I thought you were going to photograph that there was like an angle beyond which you couldn't see or something. I see a really straight road, and you say it's a straight road.
I have pictures to indicate the straight road. My husband last night took pictures from where this tiny, and I mean, it's a tiny hill, you can see that it's real tiny.
All right,
He took
well,
a picture.
apparently there's a tiny hill.
It's a tiny hill, that's what I'm
But it's
saying.
so
It was
tiny,
a
you can
small
see
hill.
Okay,
You
let
can
me
do
see your
so.
pictures.
You
Yeah,
can-
yeah.
You can see beyond the hill.
Right.
But let me explain. So here's my home. I don't have a car. I have a huge Eddie Bauer Expedition Extended, which is enormous.
Okay.
When I backed out of my driveway, and I do this every day, I left my house at about 1:20 because I had a 2 o'clock appointment for therapy. Oh,
You
sorry.
backed out of your
Okay.
driveway.
Yeah, I backed out.
Okay.
I had a 2 o'clock appointment for therapy for my twins. So I always leave extra time.
Were the twins in the car?
Yes, they
How old
were.
are the twins?
3.
Okay.
I waited, and when I backed out, there was no cars in either direction, none. I never back out with a single car coming, ever, because these babies are the most precious things in the world. They were micro-preemies who were pound when they were born.
What's
And
a
their sister-
micro-preemie?
They were pound, and they went under a pound.
A
when they were born.
pound?
And their
Oh my gosh,
triplet,
like
their
fits
triplet
into your
passed
hands?
away. Yes, they fit in your hand. They were 11 inches, 10 inches, and 9 inches. So I don't take any chances when backing out of my driveway or going anywhere. Backed out of my driveway completely, put my car in drive. I didn't go anywhere yet. My car was in drive when all of a sudden I felt a little ping on the back of my car. Actually, I felt a ping. I didn't know where it came from. Looked at my side mirrors. I didn't see anything. I looked at my rearview mirror. At that time, I didn't see anything. I said, what was it? I thought it was an animal. I looked at my rearview mirror again, and all I saw were hands doing this.
Like he's standing up,
Right,
but he's going like this
He's
'cause
going
he's
like
upset?
this. He's
Right,
upset.
yeah.
And so I put my car in park. I got out of the car, and he was like, "You backed up into me." And I simply turned to him and said, and I knew he was okay because he didn't fall off the bike. He was still sitting on the bike. He wasn't off the bike. He was sitting on the bike when his hands were going up, so I knew he was fine. And I said, "You went into me." He said, "You backed into me." I said, "If I backed into you, wouldn't you be in my door or in my rear fender?"
No, it just depends on the timing
Right.
of the. See, it's very simple. Okay. There's this, which is clearly your fault.
Right.
Okay, because that's oncoming traffic, and you were coming out in the middle of it. Then there's this, which is clearly his fault, and then there's in between a continuum. Okay, where it gets a little muddier.
The only thing
I
is
want
I
to see
was
the
stopped.
damages. I understand. He says you were backing up and you had just pulled out and he witnessed you put. I understand what you're saying. I also understand what he's saying. So I have to figure out which of the two of you is lying.
No, I
That's my job. Welcome to my world. All right.
Right.
So just a moment, because I may have a question for you about that once I look at your pictures, and I want to see these pictures were taken when.
She took pictures of the accident the day it occurred.
Are these them?
Yes.
Okay.
I took pictures last night of the actual road, the road conditions that you can see.
Okay.
This is the little damage. It was literally his front, where is his front fender? That's what was under the car. This is $1,000 worth of damage.
Here are the cars. Mm-hmm. Mystery solved. Here are the cars. You're a little tilted.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely. I did back out, but I was in drive, ready to go. But absolutely,
Right.
I have to be
But
turned.
I know, but it's not like you were clear
I
and then
wasn't
you're
ready-
driving and then he rear ends
Right.
you.
My car was in drive, but it was not ready to go. I didn't turn the wheel
Right.
to
So
go.
what does that mean then? Doesn't that mean that you pulled out into oncoming traffic and he's oncoming traffic?
There was no traffic.
Okay.
It just so happened that he
Ma'am,
came.
do you understand that you're
There was
feeling?
traffic coming
Obviously,
on
there
the
was
road.
because there was a
I know,
collision.
I know,
All right, go ahead and go back over there. All right, so do you seriously contend that it's all his fault?
I think, to be honest, I think
I
I'm
virtually
not,
insist upon it when you're under oath.
I think that's funny. I think that I'm not 50% at fault, only because when I did look, I did not see a single vehicle on the road. With my eyes, I did not see, and I don't take any chances, ever. However, he was
that's why
apparently
they call
there.
it an accident. It
But
wasn't
let me-
intentional.
I just want to explain.
Yeah.
Yes, and I hate to say this, and I really do, but I think it was intentional, and there's a reason. By accident, his insurance company sent me a letter, and the letter said, "We wanted to let you know that this has been opened in the policy for the accident occurring on February 22nd, 2010. This accident happened July 17th, 2012.
Okay.
I believe that there was damage to his motorcycle already because he's claiming that the motorcycle has damage to the handlebars, which is where the brunt of
So you
the...
think he deliberately hit you so that he can
I'm
make
sorry,
a claim?
but...
Really?
Yeah, I really do. And the officer actually, after he saw the accident and told his his partner, what happened? He said, no, the accident clearly shows that you were completely out and established on Amboy Road when you were hit, so we'll amend the police report.
Do you have an amended
Absolutely.
police report?
So if somebody goes out into oncoming traffic and they get hit, are they still responsible if it was oncoming traffic?
Definitely. They have to yield to give the right of way to the people coming.
So even if the other person hits, still responsible?
Yes, I think. I think that the person coming out is responsible. They all the people have the right of way. So.
And final word?
They're definitely responsible because you're supposed to look the other way.
And not go if you see traffic.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious going inside the courtroom.
And they told me, they said, and the pictures indicate clearly that you were out on Amboy Road.
The picture's this. This is it. This is the clincher. This is the clincher. This, because it's not straight, I know that at the point of impact, you had like split second just backed out. I know that because of the angle of your car vis-a-vis the line on the road. I can tell that you hadn't quite yet straightened out, which means you just backed out. Backed out into oncoming traffic.
I
know you have this theory that he hit you on purpose. Somehow he planned that you'd be pulling out of the driveway.
It's not just a theory. It's just if I didn't get this letter from them saying that he was in an accident with this motorcycle.
Did you have an accident in February 2010 with the motorcycle?
In 2010, yes. Yes, I did.
So did you get it fixed?
Yes, I did.
I mean, the fact that you know he had a prior accident, you only know it through an insurance company, which means he had it fixed. That's what reporting it to the insurance company is for, to get it fixed. So that doesn't prove that there was prior damage just before he hit you. Put your hand down. It certainly doesn't prove he hit you on purpose in order to get his motorcycle fixed, which he has full coverage on. I mean, none of it makes sense. At the end of the day, the question is, does he have any percentage of fault? That's where the question lies. I want to know, just out of consideration, because I'm not bound by whatever an insurance company says or does, but did her insurance company offer you anything?
They offered me 50%. Said that in New York State law.
And then his insurance, did you claim against his insurance company?
I just put a claim in, and my insurance company was going after his because I was rear-ended, and they said they would give me 15%. My insurance company said it's not fair.
Okay. There are obviously no witnesses, or I would have heard something from someone already. You can't tell me that he was speeding. There are no skid marks. The officer doesn't mention any skid marks or any reconstruction of how fast you were going. How fast were you going?
I was doing about 20 to 25 miles an hour.
Yeah. I don't have evidence that he was speeding. I do have evidence that you pulled out in front of oncoming traffic. You have a counterclaim against him for $600 and something. I find against you on your counterclaim. I find for him on the claim. $1,006.17 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because the wheel was turned?
This is the defendant coming out after losing this case. You put up a good fight, but the ruling goes against you.
I just don't understand how somebody doing 20 miles an hour can do $1,000 worth of damage.
What about this sort of dangerous driveway up over the top of a hill? It's hard to see.
It's a half a mile away.
The hell is half a mile?
Mm-hmm. So you're not going to put up any signs that say...
Well, it's not for me to put them up. I can't put them up. The city would have to put them up.
You want to ask the city to do that?
You ever asked New York to do anything?
All right, head right around this way, okay. Come on in here. You satisfied how this comes out?
Yes, I am, very. Judge saw the evidence, and she ruled perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Come on, tell us. You were going a little faster than 20 in order to hit the back of a car like that.
No,
come on.
If I was going faster, I wouldn't be here right now, and she would have a lot more damage to her vehicle. She had a little scuff mark. That was
If you're going 20, it only takes 10 feet to stop.
Have you ever been on a motorcycle and try to stop? You don't stop right on a dime.
Cops didn't see any slide marks.
Exactly, because I wasn't speeding.
Harvey?
Now here's a bummer. If the street's not designed properly, in fact, I think most cities, there's something called design immunity, where cities aren't responsible, even if they build a screwed up street that's very dangerous. They protect themselves, they write the laws, and basically they say we can't be sued. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
K-pop demon hunters Saja Boy's breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop. You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
This is the plaintiff, Carmen Azir. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant, and there were problems right from the get-go. When she moved in, the defendant still had his stuff in the place. Things were broken, and if that weren't bad enough, there was a door to someone else's apartment in her apartment. That's right, another tenant had to walk right through her place to get to her apartment. She skedaddled lickety-split and is now suing the lying landlord for the $2,200 she's owed. This is the defendant, Neil McMorrow. He says the plaintiff sobbed and begged him to rent her the apartment, so being the nice guy he is, he caved and gave it to her for a good price. Then out of the blue, after a few weeks of living there, she upped and decided to move out with the common courtesy of giving notice. He was dumbfounded. She has some high horse impression he's going to give her money back, and she can sue him till the cows come home, because he ain't giving her a penny. He's accused of running a flop house.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff rented an apartment that was ridiculous. Another tenant had to go through the plaintiff's apartment in order to get to his apartment. But the defendant says she's got a good price for this thing and she wanted it bad. It's the case of howdy, neighbor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Carmen Azir.
Yes.
You are suing Neil McMorrow, your former landlord, for $2,200, part of that security deposit, part of that rent that you say he owes you for falsely representing the apartment that you were going to be taking. So tell me what happened.
Okay, about August 24th, I went and looked for an apartment, and I went to his place, and I saw it was a third floor Victorian home. It was furnished, and I had asked him to take the bed out, the mattress out, that I would have my own mattress, and that he would remove the
And how
couch.
much were you going to be paying him rent?
$1,100.
Okay.
And I gave him $1,000 cash and a check before I left to go to Florida. Because I wasn't
$1,000 cash and a check for how much?
$1,100 cash and
Okay.
$1,100 check. And then I went to Florida, and I came back on the 4th. Then Saturday, I came to him. He still didn't remove the mattress. He still hadn't have anything out of the apartment, but he was supposed to remove.
So what exactly was in there?
There was some clothes in the drawers. He was supposed to get me a 6-drawer dresser. I didn't stay
But what happens when you walk in and you see that?
I didn't move in at all because there was nothing. He didn't move the mattress out or anything. Then the 15th, I came, and that's when I signed the papers because I had asked him.
After that, you signed?
Yeah, because he told me that he wasn't going to give me the keys to the apartment unless I signed the lease.
I'm sorry. If I have an arrangement with somebody that I'm moving in on the 4th or the 1st, and that they're going to do everything by the 4th, and then they haven't,
right?
Why would I on the 15th sign a lease?
Because
when obviously he's not removing the bed, he's not removing the stuff, he's not going to remove in with me. I don't have the chest of drawers he promised. I don't have anything that he's promised. Right. Why are you signing lease papers on the 15th?
Because Your Honor. He wouldn't give me.
Don't thank me.
He wouldn't give me the key. He wouldn't give me the keys to the apartment unless I signed the lease because I wanted to move out.
How did you get in on the 4th?
Because they were always home.
Was this a roommate situation?
No, this was an old Victorian home that he had.
And they
the
were
third
living on another floor?
He was living on that 3rd floor, yes, and then he moved down to the 1st floor.
So you pay rent, but you don't get a key?
When I got there on Saturday, he was already there, so I didn't need the key to get in the house.
Watch this. Did she have a key?
As far as I know, yes.
What do you mean, as far as you know, yes?
I'm sure she had a key.
Come on up, whoever you are. I cannot hear you if you're not standing in front of the microphone.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay.
My
Who are
name
you?
is Linda. I'm Neil's live-in partner.
Okay.
I had texted her when she was in Florida. She had told me that she was coming on a certain day and a certain time. I waited the whole day. Then finally she said, I'm not coming today. I probably will come tomorrow afternoon.
And the next day you gave her the key?
I don't know if I was there. I think maybe Neil was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So she gets the key, according to you folks,
Yes,
and she
and
moves some stuff in.
She
And when do
moved
you
quite
first
a
hear
bit
that
of
she's
stuff.
unhappy?
And also, the other thing, we could not move the bed until our handyman came. So we explained all of this. Okay. Okay.
All right. So
and the same thing with the clothes.
Stop. Okay. So let me talk to you. So you, according to you, you come in on the 4th, but nothing is done, and you're able to get in how again?
They were home.
And it doesn't occur to you to say, yo, I need a key.
Well, yeah. And then he goes, you're not going to get until we fill out the
Till we
lease.
fill out the lease.
Right.
Did he have the lease with him?
Not at that moment, no. He didn't have the lease until the 15th.
Why didn't you have the lease until the 15th?
According to me, it's September 1.
Let me see the lease.
I didn't sign it to the 15th.
No, go ahead. You can stay where you are. You didn't what?
I
Who's the
didn't sign it
gentleman
to
you're
the
looking at
15th.
right now?
This is my witness, is my friend. He came up to the apartment. He was the one that told me also that.
Okay, he smells like lawyer with that suit and tie. Are you a lawyer?
No.
Okay. Okay, you didn't date your signature, and she didn't sign it until the 15th, right? Okay.
Ma'am.
Yep. No, go ahead.
That's when I got the keys, and when I signed the papers, we were sitting on the porch, him and I were talking and everything like that, and there's when he was telling me, yeah, we'll get that mattress out, and I said, okay, because it's getting late. And then a woman came up the stairs.
While you're talking to him?
Yes, while I was talking to him. And he said, oh, that's the woman that lives on the same floor as you. And I went, what woman lives on the same floor as me?
Wait. You're both sitting there. A woman comes up and says and does what?
She said, hi, how are you? Oh, you must be the new, she's a new tenant. I say hello to her. I don't remember her name. I remember a nurse.
Asha is her name.
Asha?
Asha, yeah.
Asha,
She
okay.
was, and she said, oh, yeah. She goes, I'm on the 3rd floor. I said, are you on the 3rd floor? If I'm on the 3rd floor. She goes, oh, I'll show you how I get there. So she goes through my apartment, through the bathroom, and then you have to go up the stairs, and then you have to come through. And I thought that was my fire escape. And she was like, no, that's my apartment. And I went, what do you mean that's your apartment? And I said, how am I supposed to get out if there's a fire?
Is he still on the porch when all that's happening?
Yes.
So you
and
go
that's
back
what I said
out?
to him. Listen, I don't want to live here. I don't want to move here. And that's when George came the following week to go
And
get my
but
stuff.
did you explain to him
yes,
why?
and he said no. He goes, no, everything's legal, that you're able to get out there.
Hold
You got
on.
the keys. You have the keys to that door.
Do you
Yeah,
have
he goes,
pictures?
when I
Do you have
signed,
pictures? Anybody
I have
pictures?
pictures.
Hand them over.
the minute I signed the lease, he handed me the keys.
Okay. So what happens on the 15th? You tell him I don't want to
I don't
move
want this place, and no. And I said, I think you're best to find a new tenant. I don't want to move here.
You tell me about the conversation about that door.
Well, about the door, it opens out to be used as a fire escape. Now,
No. The door is right here, right? So that door opens to something that is a bedroom and
It's a
then to the
bedroom.
fire escape.
It's
This is rented out to another person?
at the time, it was short-term, a couple
Right.
of...
Okay, but we've already discussed that there was some woman named Osha or whatever who was living here who was a nurse.
She's long gone.
Okay, that doesn't matter to me. It matters to me
Fine.
that she met her and that she's walking through her
I-
apartment to get there.
I
and-
orchestrated the meeting because there's a washer and dryer that those two were supposed to share.
Had you told her that?
That's why I asked her to walk around, to meet Asha, and I don't create problems, If people should get to know each other and accept each other. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right. But what did you
Your
tell her
Honor.
that door was? Did she ever ask you what the
I
door was?
said, in the case of a fire, you can walk right through it.
Is all this legal? Did you ever, has anybody ever called?
It's fine. It's
Fine.
perfect.
It's fine. Don't worry your pretty little head, Judge.
No,
I doubt it's going to be fine. So Asha can go through the bathroom to go in there, but she doesn't. She climbs up the fire escape?
It's a staircase I built at great expense.
Yeah, so she goes up through the
It's
back
a
patio.
beautiful staircase.
It is a beautiful staircase.
Yeah, thank you.
And she was paying how much?
I think it was 1,000.
1,100.
And it's just the
1,000.
one big room?
Yeah, it's a studio.
Whose
That's
room
the
is
egress, Your Honor, and
That's the apartment that Carmen had.
Your Honor,
So why do you think she changed her mind?
I don't know.
So if some chick has to go through your apartment to get to her apartment, can you break the lease?
Yes, you're supposed to have like the quiet enjoyment of your apartment. There's no assumption that you're going to have.
Ooh, quiet enjoyment, lawyer words. What do you think?
Well, if you're a guy, I don't think it would be a problem.
Oh, I see. So you're making it sexual. Great. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
Okay, that's okay. What do you think?
I think absolutely, yes. I wouldn't want to live there.
Do you think you'd legally have a right to break the lease?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm thinking you're right. Going inside the courtroom.
She was having problems at home with her daughters, a lot of drama about her children. She couldn't stand to live with them any longer. They were abusing her mentally.
Where are you living now?
I'm living in an apartment.
With your daughters?
With one daughter.
Okay. Do you have anybody have texts?
I have texts.
Let me see.
They start here.
Come on up. You would raise your hand because you wanted to say something. Come on up. What did you want to say?
Part of her leaving was probably my fault because when I saw, like you said, the secondary egress was located adjacent to a toilet bowl. I thought fire exits are supposed to be unobstructed.
Your Honor, the code is you have to have 36-inch access, and it clears that.
No, I don't know that it clears it. I mean, I can't tell from that photo. But I'll tell you, who can tell is a fire marshal. This is Carmen. Oh my God, we need to talk. I can't do this. I trusted you to have everything done.
Could be.
But on September, so she signs the lease on September 15th, and at 11:18, she texts you, I know it's late, but I'm so hurt I can't sleep. I was talking with Asha. She told me she is on a month, what was it? A month to month? And you didn't like the fact that you were on a year?
No, he told me that he couldn't do a month to month with me.
Why didn't you give me month to month like Asha? Very hurt, very sad winky face. That doesn't sound like someone who's outraged about fire egress and fire codes. That sounds like somebody who's changed their mind, right? But in any event, here's where we are. How much did you keep? You kept 1,100? 2,200. Okay. So now, why would you keep the security? Did she damage the place?
The security deposit is based on these invoices from ads that I made to try to re-rent it.
Show me the ads.
I have.
No.
Oh, I keep one. I'm sorry.
And you did sign a 1-year lease, right?
Yes, and I have it canceled.
What do you mean by that?
He canceled my lease as of
Because
October
he said he wouldn't bring
2012.
her to
Here it
court to
goes.
get the year's rent.
Hand me what you're talking about. And that was, he wrote the word canceled across the lease.
Yes.
And he wrote that when?
The beginning of October 1st.
Okay, but you realize that one day in September counts for September.
Right.
So September's covered.
Right.
Okay, by your September rent.
Right.
The question is, do you get October back? All right? I don't know whether this place is legal, the two places are legal. I don't know what the deal is. But normally people prove to me what a deal is by having evidence that it is illegal.
Oh, I didn't know that I could do that.
Okay. Is the place legal or is the place not legal?
It's legal.
You're not supposed to have that back
It's
bedroom.
fine. It's fine.
If it's zone 2 family, how can you have 3 families living there?
That's why the back part is not rented now.
But at the time, we all agree Asha was living there.
There wasn't supposed to be any overlap. She was supposed to leave, she would move in. And that,
Except for that, you're a kind of guy who doesn't want problems, so I want them to meet since they're going to be sharing the washer.
for a very short period.
Okay. If you have a 2-family home, 2 families can live in it. If you are illegally renting it, you cannot look to me to say, I want you to assist me in keeping this money as rent. If you're renting it to her and renting it to her without providing kitchens, bathrooms, and double egress for each place, then you cannot keep a penny of her money for rent. Not a penny of her money for rent. $2,200 verdict for the plaintiff.
Did I get anything back?
No.
Legal or illegal? Big difference. Step right next to me right here, sir,
I don't really
please.
have a comment about it.
Well, after all that testimony and
It has nothing to, it's everything is in order, and that's all I'm gonna say.
In order.
That's right.
Okay.
It's fine.
If you want to head out, it's that way.
We closed down the apartment in question. It's gone. Nobody
Okay.
lives there.
All right.
So there was a little bit of an overlap, which I explained, and that's all. She doesn't want to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, step on in here. You satisfied how
Hi.
this comes out?
Yes, I am. I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy that the judge understood that,
Right.
that he wasn't doing the right thing.
It looked a lot like you just changed your mind also from your text.
Yeah, part of it was the changing of my mind, and he also helped me make sure that, that he said, well, what are you doing here? Because this is, and God forbid if anything happens to you, Carmen, you're going to get in trouble.
What's wrong with somebody walking through your apartment every now and then, coming through your bathroom and just walking through to get to their, what's wrong with that?
Let them, I'll put a toll there. Maybe they'll pay a little bit, and I'll get paid for rent.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, so look, when you rent an apartment, there are certain reasonable things that you're entitled to. First of all, it has to have a certificate of occupancy. It has to be a legal rental. But beyond that, you have a right. In fact, this gentleman here mentioned quiet enjoyment. You have a right to have reasonable privacy in your dwelling. And if somebody has to walk through your unit to get to their unit, that's not reasonable privacy. It's also not safe. So on those terms, I would think most judges would allow you to legally break the lease.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 50% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.